What's going on, fight fans? This is Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Rob Jarrell, and this is the preview to tomorrow's Showtime matchup that's featuring Danny Swift Garcia taking on Ivan the Terrible Redkach in a welterweight WBC title eliminator. Also on the undercard, we have Hurd making his comeback against Francisco Santana, and we have Stephen Fulton taking on Arnold Kagai in a WBO eliminator for the junior featherweight title. That should be a good one. Both guys are undefeated. Stephen Fulton looks like he's going to be the favorite in this matchup. He's looking to take a big step up and really get into that, get his name out there for a title, take the WBO, and maybe take on some of the other challenges. So look out for him to show out, but Kagai looks like he's pretty tough. So I look forward to seeing that on the undercard. But we're going to start with this one. Hurd in the junior middleweight matchup versus Francisco Santana. This is Hurd's first fight back after taking a loss to Julian Williams last year, in which he lost his title to Julian Williams in a, if I'm not mistaken, that was, I have my trusty computer here, but that was back in May of last year. It was for the WBA, IBF, and IBO titles for junior middleweight. And he lost a unanimous decision in which he never stopped trying, but Julian Williams really showed that he had came to fight and take the fight to Hurd. And to me, that was a really bad stylistic matchup because Hurd is someone who's been able to literally just walk guys down. But unfortunately, he hasn't really faced anyone like that since Tony Harrison. And even with Tony Harrison, he wasn't as polished as he is now, really measuring himself. A lot of the times he would pretty much blow his load in the first half of the fight. But moving on to this, I think he had a minor injury in which he didn't fight the rematch with Julian Williams, who lost to Jason Rosario last week. So he's going to be looking to take this win and fight either a rematch with Julian Williams or the winner of a rematch between Julian Williams and Jason Rosario. That was a surprise upset. It was a really good fight. I would like to see them do that again. So if Williams wins, he could take on Hurd, then maybe fight Rosario again, or Hurd fights Rosario if he wins. But he's taking on a guy in Francisco Santana, and this fight will be fought in the phone booth. These are two guys who really don't know how to go backwards. Hurd is bigger than Francisco Santana. He's about 6'1". He's going to come in heavier, really long arms, and used to coming forward, and he has an amazing chin. Santana, on the other hand, is going to be smaller. He has fought at 147 against some really good names. If I'm not mistaken, he drew with Julian Williams early in his career. He's fought Kareem Mayfield, Abel Ramos, let's see, Freddie Hernandez, Joaquin Alcine, Saddam Ali, Jose Benavidez, and he has a win versus Felix Diaz, which seems to be his best win to date against the gold medalist out of Dominican Republic. Because this fight is going to be fought in the phone booth and is pretty much going to be a battle of attrition, I have to give it to Hurd by a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he knocked him out by the 8th round. Because one, he's a slow starter. Two, he's there to be hit. And Francisco is adept at throwing a lot of punches. The problem is while Hurd isn't fast, neither is Francisco Santana. And Francisco Santana is a lot less polished. He's going to punch with you. He's going to wait for you to open up, and he's going to be able to put hands on Hurd. But Hurd with his superior chin, his superior power, and I think he's going to be able to throw punches at a much higher clip than Francisco Santana. I think he takes this one. I think he's able to bludgeon him to death. I mean, he's been able to walk a lot of guys down. You're talking about he walked Austin Trout down. He walked. He got the split decision versus Ersland Laura, TKO Tony Harrison. TKO Joe Jordan, Oscar Molina, Frank Galarza. So as you can see, just his power and his pressure is going to be a problem. And I think you're going to start to see her really start pushing Francisco Santana back, pushing that smaller guy back over the course of the fight. And like I said, I'm thinking that it's 8 rounds because Santana is fairly tough. But if not, it's going to be a very exciting fight. They're going to throw a lot of punches. And they're going to be a lot of wide punches. I think Hurd would be able to bludgeon him. I think Francisco Santana is going to be a little bit quicker on the trigger. But both the guys can punch with each other. I think Hurd is better at punching with his opponent. And I think once he starts landing those real thudding blows, he's just going to wear Santana down just because he's so much more of a smaller guy. So let's move on to the main event. We got Danny Swift Garcia taking on Ivan Terrible Redkach. This is, like I said, the WBC Eliminator. Redkach had his most significant win to date when he knocked out Devin Alexander in the 6th round back in, and I don't think it was too long ago. That was back in June. So this fight will be pretty interesting. He seems to he did well against the southpaw, but in his biggest step-ups, in his best fights to date, he has not come through. I mean, he lost to John Molina by KO. He lost to Argenis Mendez by split decision. That's a fight I think that a lot of people were saying he was robbed in, but at a split decision. I have to watch it again. I didn't watch it. He lost to Tevin Farmer. So he's always in fights except the certain few. Like he got TKO'd by Dejan Zlaticanin. I do remember that fight. He was pretty much outclassed and outgunned in that fight big time. Versus Danny Garcia, I think he can look pretty decent because he can give a guy like Danny Garcia a lot of troubles from that southpaw position. Robert Guerrero made a very good account of himself versus Danny Garcia, but Robert Guerrero is a little bit long in the tooth. He's worn. He's been in some wars, but he's always mentally motivated, but he just didn't have the firepower. Danny Garcia is not the most athletic dude in the world, and Ivan Redkach, who I think is going to be pretty decent fighting from the outside, really doesn't have to worry about being bum rush or concussive power. But the one thing that Danny has in his arsenal that can take out just about anyone is that left hook. And being that he's fighting the southpaw, he should definitely go to the body right behind the right hand, the right elbow of Redkach. I mean, it's there. And what Danny Garcia likes to do is he likes to either throw a lead right, come down, and really come back up over he likes to change levels, come back up. But what I think he can do himself a lot of favors if he dips left to the body, right to the body, left back up top. Because it's there. And one, you keep Redkach's hands home because he has a very high guard when he's not punching. And he telegraphs a lot of his shots. Another thing that Danny Garcia can do is Redkach telegraphs his punches. And then a lot of times he can get caught overreaching trying to jab from the outside. And we know, again, with Danny Garcia having that patented left hook, he can really throw it over the top of that jab, especially if he knows it's coming or Redkach gets caught reaching. Redkach, on the other hand, I think he should be able to work on the outside and keep Danny Garcia off his back foot. You don't want to let him, you want to be aggressive, but you don't want to let him dictate too much of the ring by moving around. He did that against Guerrero. Another thing, he likes to dip. He likes to throw left, right, kind of come and try to find an escape, or trying to go back to the outside, throw the left up top. What you want to do is you want to keep him on the back foot, moving backwards, and his head down because he leans over his front foot. And I think the left uppercut is there for him. Another thing, Redkach cannot be out of position He cannot, again, be caught reaching with either hand. Because Danny Garcia's timing is awesome. And not only that, his patience has gotten much better. He's not trying to force the left at all. He is not trying to force left. And another thing, I think Redkach should lead with the right hand. I know he has the jab, but I think he should feint the jab and go with the right, or lead with the right. Keep Garcia guessing, keep him on his back foot. If not, then he's just going to dictate the ring, dictate foot placement, throw that left hook, and it's a good possibility that he can catch Redkach. I would say 10 or 11. I'd be surprised if it goes much earlier than that, but I think he can wear him down toward the later rounds. Redkach has got to be very tough. He's going to have to be very motivated, and he's going to have to disrupt the timing of Danny Garcia. That's all I got for you today. Tell us what you think. Put your thoughts down below. Like this video. Hit that bell icon. Share with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Hit us up at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Gmail, Capital Combat. And until next time, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming.